Welcome to the Snazzy Sage Podcast. I'm Dr. Kerry, your host and coach. Each week, I chat with remarkable guests who are thriving in their next chapter with confidence, purpose, and style. Because the next chapter isn't about age, it's all about attitude. Let's dive in. Today's guest is someone very special to me, my phenomenal second grade art teacher, Kathy Hauser. Over the years, Kathy has worn many hats: art teacher, school principal, gift shop manager, gallery director, and tea room owner. Today, she continues to inspire creativity and community by designing and selling beautiful kimonos and hosting monthly tea parties at the Cobblestone Arts Center. She's also a passionate gardener and an entrepreneur, blending art, education, and hospitality into everything that she does. I'm thrilled to welcome her to the Snazzy Sage Podcast. Welcome, Kathy.
Thank you. I'm thrilled to be here.
And I have to say, it's so strange for me to call you by your first name because you are,
I know, I'm Mrs. Hauser.
Mrs. Hauser to me. So I'm very thrilled, and it's such a full circle moment. I'm so excited for our audience to hear about your journey. Before we dive into all the wonderful things that you've done, let's start with the basics. For listeners who might not know you yet, could you briefly tell us a little bit about your background?
Oh, sure. I was born in Albany. Went to Catholic elementary schools where I had to wear a uniform, but only get dressed up on Sundays. And that's where my love of fashion came from. Graduated from Colony Central High School. I knew in junior high I wanted to be an art teacher because I didn't have art classes in elementary school. And when I went to a public junior high and took art, I said, this is what I want to do. So I went to Nazareth College in Rochester. It's now Nazareth University, and got my bachelor's degree there. Went back there for my master's, and I taught art for 17 years in the Victor Central School District where we lived.
And 17 years is a long time. I was a college professor at the Art Institute of Fort Lauderdale for over 16 years, and it's so fun to keep in touch with some of my students. Do you keep in touch with some of your students today?
Well, I do. And actually, when I had the tea room, it was one of my former students who was my partner in that enterprise. And I have students from Pembroke School District and Newark School District, in addition to the Victor people.
And I don't know about you, but as I age, I'm losing my memory. I can't remember if I took my vitamins this morning, but I vividly remember sitting in your second grade art class doing finger painting. Please tell me we did that.
Yes.
There's things we remember long term, and thinking back to childhood memories. You made such a positive impact. I want to say thank you so much.
You're welcome. I do hear from former students every once in a while who express the same thing. It really touches my heart.
And I think that's why many of us teach, right? It's the giving back and the fulfillment that we see from the success of our students.
That's right.
So after inspiring students in the classroom, your path led you to become a principal. How did that transition come about? And what was it like to step into school leadership?
I designed and started a Gifted in the Arts program for Victor schools. It was okay as long as I had room in my schedule, but it didn't seem that all administrators believed that gifted in the arts student should have equal opportunity. So I decided if I can't beat them, I'm going to join them. I did my internship with Dr. Giffray at the high school, who was the high school principal, and with the finance director at the district office. And I did that in the morning and then went and taught all day and then took classes on Friday evening and all day Saturday to get my degree. And my building principal in the primary school became very ill and actually died.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was really tragic. And the district asked me to step in as my second internship and take over being principal at the primary school. I absolutely loved it. I really loved it because I could make parents happy. I could make students happy because I still was with them every day. I made grandparents happy, and I really liked being able to balance all those different facets of the position. I did go back into the classroom that fall, but I applied for full-time positions in other districts. And in October, I got a primary school principalship in Pembroke. And I was there for 8 years.
That's exciting. And so you were principal at Victor, at Pembroke, and also in Newark.
Yes.
What a tremendous impact that you had on students, parents, teachers, both as a teacher and then moving into academic leadership. And after you went on to own a tea house and work at the Cobblestone Arts Center, can you tell us about your next career after education?
Okay. Well, my husband's a tinsmith and blacksmith, and my neighbor on the corner is a primitive painter. And she did a little Christmas show at her home to sell her work, and she had a few other artists and craftspeople invited in to sell theirs. And my husband sold his tin ornaments at her sale. And I was thinking, well, I have all this time now. I can't stop making things. So I started making garden accessories. I started making teacups on a stake to put in the garden and tea lights. And then I started making those to sell at craft fairs.
And I follow you on Facebook, and you have just beautiful ornate sets of teacups and plates, and the way you decorate the table. And I had the pleasure of seeing you at the Cobblestone Arts Center doing a tea party. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Certainly. My friend Lori Flora started the Cobblestone Arts Center, and they have a very active program for students who have aged out of regular school and have a variety of disabilities. And one of the things she asked me to do, I had started hosting tea parties in a couple of different historic homes in Victor. And she said, I'd like you to come and do a tea party for our students. And we'll practice manners. We decorated hats and got dressed up. We talked about etiquette. And I have been doing that for at least 10 years after I retired.
I thought it was such a special way to teach manners, to teach etiquette, something that's so, for lack of a better word, boring, but it's actually fun, and everyone looks forward to it, and trying different pastries that you make and the different teas. It was just such a lovely experience.
And it's carried over. I had one of the bus drivers, the students are bused here by Cobblestone, and one of the bus driver said, I had a couple students get kind of rowdy on the bus the other day. And I said, oh, don't you remember what Mrs. Hauser, what Grandma Hattie says at the tea parties? We need to be kind and courteous, and we need to practice our manners. And, that just brought them around, which was nice to hear.
I love that you sing the good morning song and the good afternoon song. It just really sets the tone for such a lovely morning or afternoon. How did you come up with the good morning song and the good afternoon song?
It started with Sister Mary Agatha in first grade, and I've been singing it ever since. I started all my classes when I was teaching art. That way, it was a good way to bring their focus in and get students to settle down and listen to what we were doing for the day.
And your art spans in so many different directions, and sewing is one of them, and creating beautiful hats such as the one that you're wearing. Can you share with us how the entrepreneur that you are today, the entrepreneurial business endeavors that you're selling kimonos and vests and hats?
Well, my parents always told me I could do whatever I wanted to do. I could be whoever I wanted to be, and I believed them. Like I mentioned earlier, I had to wear uniforms. So dressing up and beautiful fabrics and clothing has always intrigued me. Ever since I was little, I've sewn. I took sewing in junior high school, and that's when I really started making my own clothes. I made my clothes in high school. The summer before I went to college, I sewed my whole wardrobe. And in those days, Glamour magazine used to do a college issue of their magazine in September, and they had a contest with area colleges across the country for best dressed freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. And I was actually named best dressed freshman that year.
Wow, that is so exciting. And I know you continue to sew today, making beautiful kimonos and vests. Can you share some more information about that?
I like to recycle and upcycle. When I was an art teacher, I had centers in the art room, clay and painting. And one of the favorite spots was what we called the treasure box, which was a big box filled with all sorts of junk, cereal boxes and orange juice cans. And at the end of a formal lesson, students could make whatever they wanted with the materials in the classroom. And I use upcycled fabrics. This kimono is made out of silk, from a silk kimono. I also make bog coats, which is very simple pattern made from one piece of fabric, out of vintage tablecloths. And the ones from the 40s and the 50s are especially popular, as are the lace ones. So that's what I'm doing right now.
And they're absolutely beautiful. I love that you could eat one cookie or a box of cookies and wear I think the kimono's in my future.
They're very flattering no matter what size you are.
You've done so much across art, education, and entrepreneurship. Is there anything else that we haven't touched on yet that you'd like to share with listeners?
Well, when I first retired, one of the things I spent a lot of time on was my gardens. And again, when I create something, color is very, very important to me. So I actually planted 13 monochromatic color gardens: red, yellow, blue, green, purple, black, white, bronze, magenta. And I used to host garden tours at our house. We live in a Victorian home, and at that time it was purple. And we would do a workshop where you made a teacup for the garden to take home. And then tour the gardens. So I think of them as paintings, and I don't care if they're weeds or precious imports of plants, as long as they're the right color. I want to look out and see that color in that space.
So I'm going to shift gears. I have a series of questions that I ask all of my guests on the Snazzy and Sage podcast. So one of the themes of this podcast is reinvention and embracing every stage of life. How do you personally view aging?
Oh, what choice do we have? If we're not aging yet. So it's really interesting to watch my body change, my skin, my hair, my size, but I'm still with my boyfriend from high school. He can't see too well, and he just loves me the way I am. I surround myself with friends and animals and beauty, and I'm happy to be alive. Right now, I'm heading up a committee to plan my 60th high school reunion. Wow. And it just makes me sad to see how many classmates have passed away. And I'm so excited to see the ones who are still alive. And who cares what they look like? Who cares how much they weigh? Who cares? You know, we're still alive. And that's the most beautiful thing.
I have a comedian friend who's older, and whenever I ask him how he's doing, he said, "It's another great day. I'm above ground."
Yeah, there you go.
And, you bring up such a good point of what choice do we have? And I think we've been taught that aging is such a bad thing. And part of the reason I'm doing the podcast to say, no, it's not. And my body is changing, fortunately, not in the right way. I've got to, it's teaching me acceptance and patience. And I'm looking for a future ex-husband that has 20/100 vision, glasses, bifocals. Well, I love all of that. On a personal level, how do you find joy? What makes you happy and excited?
Oh, I find joy in waking up each day. I love the season, no matter what it is. Actually, I think winter's my favorite season. I don't complain when it's too hot or too cold. I'm just glad that I can experience it. I come from a big family, and several people have passed away, and it brings me joy to know that I'm still here and part of that, and that I'm still with my boyfriend, and that my kids are settled and have loving spouses, and I have dogs, I've had horses, I have a cat. I just appreciate all the things that I have, and I just continue to surround myself with beautiful, memorable things, and that makes me really happy.
And speaking of beautiful, memorable things and hats and gloves, you are a fashionista. What is your go-to style piece?
My go-to style piece, I have several black dresses. I have a turtleneck wool jersey that I wear a lot in the winter. I have lighter, gauzy things that I wear in the summer because I like to wear over it a jacket or a kimono. I think that basic black dress is something that I get the most wear out of.
And I always see you in hats and pictures. Can you talk about your very fun hats?
Well, it's from going to church on Sunday when I was little. When my first granddaughter was born, my son wanted to know what I wanted to be called. And I said, well, Grandma's fine. Well, what about Grandma Hattie? I always wear hats. I like to wear old-fashioned things, and Hattie's an old-fashioned name. And my granddaughter just loved it when she got old enough. And so I became Hattie. I always wear hats. And that's what the students at Cobblestone call me too, Grandma Hattie.
And is that the name of your business as well?
Yes, Grandma Hattie's Home and Garden.
Mrs. Hauser, where can people connect with you?
You can connect with me through the Cobblestone Arts Center in Farmington, New York.
Terrific. Is there anything else you'd like to share?
It does my heart good to see my former students grow up to be such beautiful souls and for them to be making a difference.
I am so grateful that you are on the podcast today. It's been, when I had the idea of the podcast, you were in my heart to be on, and thank you so much for sharing your story with the world and the impact that you have made not only on me, but all of my other classmates, for the love of art, the joy of living, and to see you thriving in the next chapter of your life gives us hope and gives us joy that there is a lot of years, a lot of runway ahead of all of us.
Thanks, Kerry. I love you.
Thank you, Mrs. Hauser. I love you too. Thank you for tuning in to Snazzy Sage. If you loved today's episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend. Want to elevate your style and confidence? Visit snazzyandSage.com to explore individual and group coaching that helps you look and feel your best from the inside out. Until next time, stay snazzy.